Welcome back, fellow adventurer. I'm sure you've got lots of problems to solve today, lots of people who need help, but I'm glad that you're taking the time to help yourself too, to figure out what you want in the midst of a chaotic and often overstimulating world. Today's episode is filled with great reminders that what is fun for one is not always fun for everyone, that sometimes people's needs are conflicting. And for those of us who want to help the world, to heal it, or to at least not cause unnecessary harm, this can be a really overwhelming and even dispiriting thing. This episode is also a fantastic and pretty hilarious example of something called trauma mastery. Trauma mastery is something I was taught by Laura Vandernoot-Lipsky and Connie Burke's text, Trauma Stewardship, which I highly recommend if you are curious about how simply being exposed to or witnessing trauma is itself a kind of trauma. But trauma mastery refers to a common experience, that when people experience trauma, we actually seek out situations similar to that trauma, and oftentimes we do this unconsciously. This is a completely natural thing that people do. It's not something we should judge ourselves for or even necessarily avoid, but it can be dangerous if it happens unconsciously. If we seek out scenarios similar to our trauma, but we aren't prepared for them, or don't recognize we are doing this, then we can risk re-inscribing or even worsening the effects of our trauma. But if we do this consciously, if we are aware that oftentimes we make choices which are heavily influenced by the hurt we carry with us, then we can convert that hurt into a healing force, and also make sure that we don't bite off more than we can chew, or blame ourselves if things don't go as we hope. So in Finn's case, his memory of sitting in his own boom and people walking past ignoring him or dismissing his problems are a driving force behind his desire to help all those in need. And he is clearly conscious of this connection, which is a good and healthy thing, but one which can only happen when we are in touch with ourselves and our motivations for acting in the ways we do. This is something meditation can help us with. Still, we can see him getting overwhelmed. Everybody wants different things, and some of them want stuff that's exactly the thing that the others don't want. Sometimes we can't solve everyone's problems, which doesn't mean that we can't try, but that it helps to have friends around us, or a voice inside to help calm us down. Whoa, dude, hold on. So this guy wants this, and that guy wants that, but man, what do you want? And here, this inner or outer voice is using man and dude as non-gendered terms, unless you like those terms for yourself. Or maybe it just says, whoa, friend, instead. And it is totally okay, in fact, really admirable, to look inside yourself and discover that what you really want is to help make the world better, safer, more inclusive, more comfortable for others. There are countless ways we can do that, and we are most effective when we take the time to think intelligently about what those might be, to respond rather than just react. But it is also important that we know our limits and boundaries. We can't heal the world if we are too far outside of our comfort zone, if our needs aren't being met, or if we stop listening to what we want ourselves. Just as we talked about last time, it's about finding that dynamic balance, that constantly moving target. And meditation can be a space where you help reset those scales. At least it is for me. When I first started, I often felt guilty or insecure or even anxious about taking this time to be with myself, or to even ask the question, what do I want? It felt really selfish. Of course, I was answering it with my actions all the time, often not terribly successfully either. But meditation, mindfulness, allows us to make those unconscious voices that often dictate our actions a little clearer, a little more conscious. We can see ourselves a little more clearly and accept ourselves as we are. Maybe we can change over time, but we discovered that it is actually easier to change by treating ourselves with gentleness and kindness, rather than with harsh intentions, negative self-talk, or disciplinary vibes. But enough talking for now. Let's try some practicing. Let's begin with some deep breaths. Fill up your lungs as far as they'll go, and then let them out. Maybe as a quick huff, or as a vocal sigh, or as a slow trickle of air. Whatever works for you. We're just feeling the breath. Just once or twice more as we arrive in this moment. And I'll open with the reminder that you cannot get this wrong. I doubt that we will neatly solve everyone's problems in the next 10 minutes, or even necessarily begin to solve all, maybe even any, of yours or mine. But that is not our goal for this time. Our goal for this time is to simply be, and we cannot get this wrong. You cannot get this wrong because you cannot possibly have a wrong experience. Whatever comes up for you, however this feels, however this time goes, even if you had to give up and walk away in the middle, you still set an intention towards encountering yourself. And every time you do that, you increase your capacity for mindfulness. No getting it wrong. Whatever your posture is, whatever shape your body is making right now, just notice that. If you're lying down, then notice that. See how it feels to lie down. If you're sitting, notice that you're sitting. Notice how you are sitting. Invite yourself to rearrange your posture in a way that strikes a balance of alertness and relaxation. What this means will be unique to you, and it might change over time or over the course of the sit. But we are alert so we can greet ourselves, but not so uptight that our muscles are tense, if we can help it, or so tight that we are hypervigilant. We're not trying to pounce on anything that comes up. We just want to welcome it. Or accept that we can't welcome it. That's okay too. And we are relaxed because it helps us lower our defenses. To drop our guard, even for just a second or two. Many of us hold our defenses throughout the day for very good reason. We need to in order to get through the day, to do our job. But even if we can't lower them all the way right now, maybe we don't even want to, but let's see if we can't at least dial it back a little. Whatever threats you may have coming after this, right now, you're just sitting. You've made the choice to take this time. You don't have anywhere to be for the rest of our time together. So just welcome in that spirit of relaxation. Maybe soften your jaw, or let your forehead go loose, that space between your eyes. Maybe allow your neck to let up the tension, or drop your shoulders just a tad. Whatever they want. Whatever feels good and safe and right to you. Maybe this doesn't feel very much like meditating. Maybe your thoughts are completely distracted and you're never hearing a word I'm saying. Maybe you're hearing all of it, but you don't see how it's any different from your day-to-day life. That's okay. For one, the benefits of meditation take time. If this has all felt too easy for you, that's great. We are trying to usher in a spirit of ease. And also, we will start trying to build some concentration in our next session. By design, these sessions have been more about just helping to make us as comfortable with one another and with this space as possible. Anytime you try a new thing, especially one that is outside of your comfort zone, as meditation is for most people I know, fear and self-doubt are some of our most viable enemies. In my observation, these are often some of our worst foes. So that's why these first sessions have been a showering of affirmation, reminders that you can't get it wrong, that no matter what you're feeling or aren't feeling, it's totally fine. We are learning what it feels like just to reduce our stimulus a bit, to not multitask or feel so hurried, to just sit, to be in a posture that is balanced between alertness and relaxation, to welcome our thoughts as they arise, if we can recognize them. Over time, I promise I will talk less, and you will want me to. You will learn to support your practice with your own voice of support. How to remind yourself that you're not stupid for sitting here, that you can't get this wrong. But we are building these muscles slowly and steadily, anchored by some good old-fashioned cartoons. Maybe this all seems pretty corny, like someone's deepest wish to be to help everyone. That's okay. You have permission to feel like this is corny. All of these first sits together have been about that, practicing the power to give ourselves permission. Permission to be bad at a thing before we are good at it. Permission to feel stupid or judgmental as we decide how we feel about all this. Permission to feel uncomfortable or agitated or confused. We feel these things often, usually outside of meditation. And we usually make them worse for ourselves by expecting them to go away or believing we can erase them if we fight them hard enough. It's fine to employ those other strategies, but I am giving you permission and hopefully encouragement and support to try some other ones. Maybe ones you are less familiar with. At a minimum, if none of this works for you, hopefully you can feel better about the methods you have chosen. You have permission to choose that too. And you can always return to this, or some other method of meditating in the future, if you'd like to. But no matter what you choose, I'm grateful to you for sticking with it this far. I remember how utterly, insanely difficult and uncomfortable it was for me to start meditating. A lot of the sensibilities of meditation fly in the face of the pace and postures we are used to. We are often encouraged and sometimes forced to hold these faster, more rigid ways of being for ourselves. So, sitting by yourself, welcoming your thoughts and your whole self, just as you are. These are brave and adventurous things to do. So it gives me hope that you have even tried this 10 times now. Truly. Thank you. For the remainder of our time together today, about 30 seconds or so, I invite you to rest your attention on whatever feels best in your experience right now. And that is it for now, adventurers. Next time, we will begin to flex our concentration muscles. Slowly at first, don't be too scared. But a basis of concentration is one of the many benefits of meditation. And without it, it is difficult to explore some of the funkier, deeper terrain of our hearts and minds that we might be interested in exploring. But for now, give yourself a big pat on the back, or go get a chocolate chip cookie, or do something that makes you smile. We may not have solved everyone's problems, but you have made time to practice meditation 10 times now, and that's a pretty big step. Till next time.